So the iFlight Defender is finally here. Well, it's finally time to get real. Guys, welcome back to the Drone Camps channel. I'm Justin Davis. Today I have a full real review on the Defender 25. We're going to take this out. We're going to take it to a playground locally, and right now it's pretty much pouring down rain outside, but we're going to fly it anyway in the rain around metal steel poles, and we're going to bounce off stuff. I'm going to totally bash this one like an old school Drone Camps RC flight test. Back in the day, we used to do a lot of kind of playground bando bashing, and today is going to be like the olden days on the Drone Camps channel. We're going to take the Defender 25. We're going to see if we can power loop it around a playground set and see how it does, see how these motors do, and we're going to see, most importantly, how these prop guards hold up, because when I pulled them out of the box, iFlight gave me 2 sets of these extra aside from what's on the drone here. So I'm wondering if these are going to hold up in comparison to something like the DJI Avata, the Cinebot30, and the Geprc Cinelog20. I'm going to kind of compare each of these prop guards in this review today. So if you're kind of on the fence about which one should I buy, well, I'm going to give you a pretty good idea which one has the strongest prop guards in this review today, and also give you some real insight on what the Defender 25 is all about and my opinion about this one. Good stuff, bad stuff, pros and cons. As always, we're going to do an indoor flight test as well, guys, and then we're going to do that very special in the rain playground bashing session. Old school Drone Camps RC flight test. And we're going to find out how tough the Defender 25 actually is. If you'd like further information, please do join our Discord, guys. We have a brand new Discord you can hop into. We're active on there pretty much 24 hours a day. You can check out dronecamps.com as well. We have brand new articles and a Drone Camps FPV community forum. So all kinds of new information is on dronecamps.com. You can find it all right there. And if you want to, if you're a brand new person getting into the hobby, if you're a beginner, you want a 20-minute phone call with me, a consult to ask me what to buy, what's the best gear, how to get set up, what tools do you need, things like that. 20 minutes for $20. That's now on the website as a new service to the FPV community. So talk to me on the phone. Go ahead and do it. You can pay by PayPal, and check it out on dronecamps.com. That's brand new today on the website. So without further ado, guys, I appreciate you, and I want to show you the highlights of the indoor test and the outdoor old school Drone Camps RC playground test. Here we go.
You've been on a path of destruction. So you side with America, yet you sympathize with the problem every chance that you get. Pack your bags, here's a bill for the rent, and don't forget to pay us back whoever you sent. You spent. It's better late than never, now it's over. You're done. It doesn't matter what you say anymore. 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 Push yourself 'cause you're in for a treat. Everybody wants to see you.
Okay guys, let's go ahead and put the Defender 25 on the scale and let's weigh it. This quad comes in at around 239 grams. It is under 250 grams. It is what everyone wished for DJI to release when they released the DJI Avata. I was really hoping that this machine would be under 250 grams and not be quite so top heavy with this giant battery design. It seems like iFlight has taken what the community didn't like about the Avata and released the Defender 25. This is apparently over a year's worth of work from iFlight. And now we have something that is not comparable to the Avata. It's not a DJI Avata, but it's kind of what a lot of us wished for that size and that class. This does start around $539 without a receiver. If you want to get TBS Crossfire on that, you can also do that. That's going to be around $568, but you're getting so close to the price of the Avata. Now, as far as durability too, we're going to go into durability in this flight test, and we're going to talk about how durable each of these prop guards are on each of these drones. So far, the Avata props are extremely durable for me, but this guy, 411 grams, the Cinebot30 with a camera on there, no battery. This one's weighing in at around 255 grams. This one's going to be over 250 grams for you. If you want to keep it under 250, you're going to have to go with something like the Geprc Cinelog20 at 138 grams, around 200 grams, probably with a battery on board, and still under 250 with a decased GoPro or something on there. But the iFlight Defender does everything you want to do for under 240 grams. So that's not bad. But let's go ahead and compare prop guards on each of these and talk about what happened in my flight test. Now, the cool thing about the O3 is that, well, it has 4K stabilized footage. Very nice video. You can also do Rocksteady 2.0, which really smooths out the tune on there. We're going to talk about durability in this review. We're going to talk about the tune on each of these versus the Defender 25. And also, you have to know that if you're looking to bind up one of these to, say you already have the DJI FPV Transmitter 2, they will bind up to this and they will fly on this transmitter. It has been newly updated. The RC link is a bit better than it was before, but still, I have to tell you that I was flying this in the car on one of my flight tests with my Cinelog20, and I did fail safe when I ran around the backside of a bush. So I don't think that the RC link is all that great still in the DJI transmitter and in the O3. I would suggest going for TBS Crossfire or ELRS in these quads. Now, as far as iFlight's frame design, this bottom plate here that encompasses the O3 on the bottom, this is the frame, and this has not an open enclosure type of design. It's an open type of bottom on here, and this reduces the weight, but at the same time on this frame also, I think, makes it a little bit, I would say a little bit less durable. On my flight test out in the playground, got to get straight into it. We broke something on this, and it's because I crashed straight down on top of the play set. And while this is pretty light at 240 grams, I did bust this front prop guard right here, and you can see right there. And when I first picked it up, I kind of heard this plastic. And, looking at this plastic when I first got it, iFlight gave me 2 extra sets of this bottom plate prop guard combo here. So I kind of knew from getting 2 of these in the box that, well, maybe they think that I might break these. And yes, I did break them. So if you have to pull them off, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts right there to release this. And then you're also going to have to release your O3 unit from this bottom plate as well right here, 4 bolts right here. So quite a few bolts versus something like the Cinelog20 to release your O3. In the bottom of this, you can take off these 4 bolts, bam, the O3 is out and you can get to your flight controller. So probably one of the easiest ones to work on is the Cinelog20. Next, I would say the Defender 25 wasn't too hard to work on. I was able to open it up. If you're looking to bind up your TBS Crossfire receiver inside here, mine was kind of hard to get to. It was kind of hard to see the light inside here once the LED came on. I was able to stick my bamboo skewer in this tiny little hole right here they've designed in this frame. This bottom plate allows you to get to that, but it is a little bit tricky. So that's going to be a job, and you may have to take this apart to get to your receiver. But that's totally depends on how patient you are. Now, the Cinelog, as far as getting to the O3 in this one, there are more bolts on the bottom here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts. 10 bolts on the bottom there to get to that O3, but that is a single carbon plate on the bottom to get to the O3 and the flight controller. So I'd say easiest one to work on, Cinelog20, Defender 25. I would say maybe the Cinebot30, and then the Avata was just kind of quirky and weird to work on, but they do give you parts, thank God for that. And all of these are rocking the inverted motor design. And on the 25, we have 2.5-inch props, and we have a unibody plate, which is not actually carbon. And we talked about this before over on my friend's channel there, Mad Tech, that this is kind of a type of almost probably like a carbon composite plastic molded frame here. I feel like there's some sort of you can see layers on the side right here, and it feels like it has some type of particulate to this frame. It's different than the prop guard plastic. It's not the same type of material, but I've never really seen this before. Now in the back, we have our XT30 right here as well. And these 2 side plates, you can push them in like this. They will release this 550 battery. This is all encased right here, 4S 550 milliamp. You can get those in also 900 milliamp battery as well. So I feel like there's some extra room inside this case versus how big a 550 milliamp battery actually is. And to charge these batteries, you're going to need to use this charging adapter. It comes with this balance cable in the box right here, which goes, it says it's 1 to 4S, so maybe they'll come out with some different ones, I don't know. Kind of weird there, but it is a 4S battery, and it is 550 to 900 milliamp. They also have this XT30 here to XT60 for your charger, and it seems that they have a balance connector here for this type of battery. This case is proprietary from iFlight, so it snaps down here like this, and it's actually pretty quiet to snap down, and then you plug in this guy right here and plug these 2 sides into your balance lead and your charge port there with the XT60, and you're off and charging. You want to set it to a 4S type of setup for this battery, and I'd say they top off in probably I'd say 10 to 15 minutes. They charge pretty quick, and you can be out and flying pretty fast. So I think it's kind of cool that they have a case around this, but I guess my only drawback about this, guys, is that I really can't see when this cell is going to start to go bad on me. I won't be able to tell when it's starting to swell. There's just no way to tell unless you're looking at the voltage on your charger to see your cell health inside your charger. You won't be able to see a physical swelling of this battery, which kind of is concerning to me. I would prefer to fly batteries on this quad that are the standard size lipos that we can fit in here. If iFlight comes out with some kind of attachment here, they do have 3 bolts here and 2 bolts that release this harness here for the battery cage. I would like to see that they come up with an option that has maybe a loop here and a loop here for being able to add a strap on here to hold traditional lipos down. You also do get an extender in here as well, so maybe they thought about that if you guys want to extend from here to there with your standard style battery to get all the way to the back where the XT30 is for powering up the quad. That would be super nice if they did that. We also have 3 bolts on each motor here, and Again, we have that carbon composite type of unibody on here. Very thin prop guards, which I'm not a fan of. They also gave me some extra dampeners, and I wanted to show you guys these because this is a really nice camera housing for this Defender 25. And I have to say, let's talk about the jello in this video. And these are like silicone molded camera dampeners that go on the inside of this camera housing. I thought this was really nice because generally, you know, these companies give you TPU 3D printed type of dampening. I mean, even iFlight has 3D printed dampening, as well as Geprc on their Cinebot30. This is not like specifically manufactured like these are. These are nicely molded and seem to be really high quality. So I'm going to save those for future use. Maybe I could use them on a different build. These are really nice and they take care of a lot of jello. The camera also is situated to where these bolts, as tight as I can get them, I can still move it freely with my fingers. So they have some type of system in here where this camera will move. It won't kind of go down on you when you have a crash. It stays pretty true to where you put it when you fasten it at a certain angle or position. If you're gonna fly it indoors, fly it all the way down. If you're gonna fly it outside freestyle, put it all the way up for yourself and get the fastest flight time. So I feel like it has a really good protection all the way around it. It has maybe even better protection than the Cinebot30, but I do like the fact that the Cinebot30 has that nice aluminum side plate and top plate there. This one might be tougher, but I feel like this one has a little more protection all the way around. A little open gap there in the bottom, but we have to have that when we come all the way down so that we don't see the frame in the video view. But I like the way that iFlight's done this. You can also remove this top plate and that camera mount right there and access the inside of the quad. The receiver is sitting up front back here. We also have an internal VTX antenna. You guys didn't notice that in this review, that this quad looks like it's chilling with no antenna on the back. And that's pretty cool. It is working with the DJI O3. Now, that eliminates just one more thing hanging off the quad to break, which I think was really smart by iFlight. Now, also inside the box, I got a bunch of extra M2 hardware in here, some extra 3M sticky, some little tiny 2mm Allen wrench for all of the bolts on the quad. Thank God they're all the same size bolts. They're not mixed up 3mm and 2mm. We get some extra Defender 25 props in here. They're not super high pitch, but I felt like this quad would freestyle good with that 4S battery on board. And we also have some flight safety instructions there. We get some extra stickers and some iFlight documentation. I don't know what this is. This is all in Mandarin. I have no idea, but it's a cool old school picture of iFlight there. I remember when they made that one. That was a kind of a cool picture, and it has some TBS crossfire and express LRS information. It says that locking it in is better, so that's going to be a much better setup. Lock it in, don't use dynamic crossfire, which means having it change as it goes further out. Just lock it into 150 or 50, and that should clear up that problem with crossfire. You don't want to have any fail safes with your TBS crossfire systems. But let's talk about the tune on the Defender 25 versus the other quads out there. So there they all are, and I'm just going to snap this battery into place real quick so you can see how easy it is to snap into place. And it's in. I thought that was pretty easy to get in and out of there, so I'm happy about that. It feels really natural and it doesn't feel like it's going to pop out. We did have some problems with crashing with the Avata, where once this battery gets put in a bunch of times, this frame kind of wears out on the clip right here, and people report losing the battery out the back of their Avata, which would be a huge problem. Once you crash, you have no idea where your Avata is going to be, and it does not have any type of external beeper, which I really wish a quad like this had. DJI should really implement an external beeper system so that if your battery flies off, you can still fly in the quad up to 2 days later with an external battery beeper, which they only cost about $10. So it'd be super nice to have one of those. You should put one on your Defender if you get one, or your Cinebot. Just really nice insurance if your battery does fly off the quad. But let's talk about tune here. So iFlight's tune in comparison to something like the Cinelog20, I had to tone this one down a little bit. I put out a custom PID tune for the FPV community, and that one's available in a Google document. This one I feel also needs to be tuned at the hard end of a power loop coming back around. I was getting some waggle in my FPV goggles, but this O3 system on here, it's so good that it tuned out, it smoothed out that vibration coming around through a power loop. So the Cinebot30, when I was power looping that, it did not have that same type of wobble coming through the power loop. So I feel like this one freestyles a little bit better, but it's hard to compare to this one because this is a 3-inch quad and this is a 2.5-inch. And this one's under 250 grams. So what do? If you're looking for under 250 grams, get the Defender 25 if that's your requirement. And I'm gonna provide you guys with a tune. I'm gonna custom PID tune the Defender 25. You'll be able to find that coming up in maybe the next week or so. I'll try to get that done for the community, so you can find it on dronecamps.com on our articles section. And you might also find some more information about this one. I'm going to write an article about this as well. So in comparison to some of the other guys you see sitting here. So the DJI Avata is probably last place as far as the freestyle capability. It has tons of washout. It is super top heavy and it can't handle its own prop wash. So the vortex ring state happening all around that one, and that one will tumble to the ground and crash. It also crashes in the water if you'd like it to. If you put it over water and do any freestyle, I don't recommend it. Also the most expensive out of the bunch. So you want to be super careful what you're doing with what quad and where you do it. I never recommend flying over water. It's just always, you're taking a chance when you do that. You want to get that most epic shot ever. But even with TBS crossfire, guys, so you can see my crossfire sticking out the front there, don't take it out a mile out and dip down on the surface of the water, because what happens when you get way out there with any type of radio signal close to the ground? Most of us that fly long range know that. You could even be a couple football fields out and fail safe to the ground. So the signal has a hard time sometimes reaching back home. Unless you have a diversity antenna on here, I do not recommend it. I do recommend, however, getting the TBS Crossfire diversity antenna, which will help you with that. But most of us that fly long range know that the further you fly out, the higher you go. And then when you come back, you can come in a little lower and dip and play around in your proximity flying with flying low to the ground. But that's a whole nother video, guys. $568 for the Defender 25 4S HD quad, O3 on board, and a decent tune. Not the most durable prop guards. I'd say the most durable prop guards at the end of the day right here are the Avata prop guards, followed by the Cinebot30. And I would say it's a toss-up between these two, because I've been flying this one all week, and finally, yes, I have broken the Cinelog prop guards here. So guys wondering, how does this Cinelog compare to the older Cinelog prop guards? I'd say they're about the same after about a week of flying this one. So yeah, but they all break. Even the Cinebot30 will probably eventually break on me, and I'm sure at some point I'm going to break these guys, but I would say for now, this is probably the toughest prop guard setup of any of the Cinewhoops sitting right here. But this is a really fun and unique design. It is not an Avata, but it is what I wished the Avata would have been. And I have to say, flying it around the yard in stability mode, agility mode, freaking awesome. It feels like I'm flying the Avata without the kind of braking system that this vision positioning system brings us. So take all the bells and whistles and all the fancy screens and everything else off this thing, and you have a Defender 25. So hopefully that clears up a lot of stuff out there. Maybe some misconceptions about the Defender 25, what it is and what it isn't. It's pretty fun. So you can check it out in the link down below, guys. I'm Justin Davis. As always, take care. Check out my links, and check out dronecamps.com for a bunch of cool FPV community stuff and resources, new articles, and all kinds of cool stuff, guys. I will see you on the next one. Take care.